Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another WNEP Sports Spotlight. Week 13 of the high school football schedule is upon us. Hello once again. I'm Sports Director Steve Lloyd, along with Courtney Harrison and Eve Hernandez. We've been here all season long, and we will run this through after and into the state championship games that first week of December. So once again, thank you out there for joining us here on the Spotlight on WNEP Plus. Well, Friday night we have 6 games and then 3 more on Saturday. Opening remarks, I think for me it's kind of the meat cutter part of the schedule here. The teams that have been able to establish some defense and being able to run the ball and execute in some of this inclement weather have moved on into the state playoffs, and we do have a few district championship games to get to. So those are my opening thoughts. Good luck to all the teams this weekend, and let's hear from Courtney and see what she thinks about the Week 13 of the playoffs.
Yeah, we went from 17 games. We're now down to 6. It's hard to believe that was that much of a cutoff there coming into this week. But, man, the weather last week I think was the worst we've had. But we've been fortunate all season long. It was miserable. It was gross. But, man, some of these teams really, hunkered down and gave it everything they could. So we'll expect some more of the same in the cold this week.
Yeah, it seems like the wind has kind of been a factor. I was up at North Pocono, and I don't know the player's name, but the Trojans were up 13-0. They kicked off, and the kid couldn't pick up the ball, and then he kicked it, and then North Pocono recovered. I was just shaking my head. I felt really bad for that kid, but it was raining and the wind was blowing and the field was slick.
Yeah.
So,
Same at Lakeland. It was yucky.
I guess the rain last week was just a preview of what we're going to get this weekend and beyond. The snow has fallen this week so far. We'll see if this weekend we have any snowy games, but just a preview, like you said, but kind of like you said earlier, Steve, what carries well into the playoffs right now, the run game and your defense. If you can run the ball in this inclement weather, if you can stop the run on the other side, hold the other team to lower points, you probably do pretty well. But, man, our opponents that some of our teams have, some really tough opponents for the first round of states, so we'll see what we have, next week and beyond that.
Yeah, I really think over the years, if you look at the Southern Columbia Tigers and Coach Roth and how they're able to roll off all those state championship games, they could play in any type of weather, certainly in cold weather as we roll here through the month of November. So we have 6 games to get to on Friday night, and we're going to talk about the 3 more on Saturday. The first one up, we're going to start with Hollidaysburg. We're talking about that team from outside our viewing area. They have knocked off a lot of the teams from our viewing area. They will be playing Delaware Valley. That's Friday night at 7 p.m. Danville Area High School, they're hosting head coach Keith Olsemer, another district championship title with a win over Abington Heights, a very hard-fought, tough win for the Warriors, and they face a very good team in the Golden Tigers. That's in the 5A state playoffs. Here's a few scores from Hollidaysburg. I know we've talked about these scores all season. They beat Mifflinburg, who's in the Super 16, 49-14. They beat Jersey Shore, who was also on our Super 16, 52-7. And then they knocked off Williamsport, and that score lopsided 69-6. So Coach O and his staff, they're going to have their hands full.
Yeah, Hollidaysburg comes in undefeated to this game. They just squeaked out a win over DuBois. I think they won by 1 point, if I'm not mistaken. It was 25-24. Wow. They had 3 fumbles in the game. Carter Muth scored the go-ahead touchdown for the Golden Tigers. They have lots of weapons on this team, and DV will have their hands full.
Most definitely. DV, congrats to DV for getting to this point. First of all, getting that win over Abington Heights. They beat the Comets twice so far this season. So awesome for Coach Olsemer and his staff getting the win and getting the district championship. But the Golden Bears, we've been talking about them. They played multiple of our teams this season. Yeah. Really, really tough team to beat. You mentioned some of their stars there, Courtney. Muth is one of them who has 1,500 rushing yards this season. They have another running back with 1,200 rushing yards this season. Their quarterback has thrown for over 1,000 yards this season.
Insane.
On offense, they got all the pieces there. So defensively, DV is going to need to stand up in this game if they're going to want to have a chance.
Yeah, and also Hollidaysburg, they beat Selinsgrove, the Seals. They're a team out there in District 4 from our viewing area. On to the next game, Shamokin, our number 1 team, coming off winning the District 4 4A championship game over Jersey Shore. Eve Hernandez was down at that game. She'll talk about what she saw last Friday night. The Indians finishing 12-0 once again here in 2025, and they head to Bellefonte to face the Red Raiders in the opening round of the state playoffs. So, Coach Persing and company, congratulations to them, and they will start their state playoff run, one that ended very quickly last season when they lost to Juniata.
Man, I think they want that back. I think they came into the season even hungrier than they were when things ended last year. But Bellefonte, they finished the season 5-6, but they're like Scranton Prep. They're peaking at the right time. They have all the components. They have a great run game. Their defense has come on strong. They just posted a shutout win. Shamokin has all those same components too, and then some. So I think I like the Indians' chance in this one.
Yes, certainly reps count in the state playoffs. They got a little taste of that last year,
Yep.
Courtney. I think that will help them here on Friday night.
Yeah, definitely. You kind of said, Courtney, that they came in hungrier this season, even than last season. And they echoed that in the preseason when I talked to them for our Super 16, for our preseason countdown. Talked to them, and they were like, we really overlooked that Juniata team. We're not going to overlook a team if we get the chance this season. And that's what Coach Perstein told me after the game on Friday versus Jersey Shore. He's like, we're not going to overlook. We know that Juniata lost. It's Bellefonte. We're not going to overlook them. We know that they have some good players on their team, and that we got to focus on us. We got to focus on the things that we've been doing well all season. Defensively, like I said, they impressed me every single week. Colin Steinhardt, 4 interceptions last week, and then Logan Steele also has a ton of interceptions for that team. Their defense has played really well all season, and then we know on offense they've got so many different guys that they can get the ball to. It's not just Logan Steele running around, but he does do a bulk of their plays, able to carry them through. But man, they got a lot of good weapons on their team. So if they can, do what they've been doing all season, I think they have a really good chance against Bellefonte.
And then Game 3, the North Pocono Trojans, they won the District 2 4A championship game over Dallas, and a second title for head coach Greg Dolan with North Pocono. And they hit the road on Friday night to face Bishop Shanahan at 7 p.m. down in Downingtown. That's the first round of the PLAA 4A state playoffs. So the Trojans, they've had a lot of home cooking lately, and got to hop on a bus and make a trip down the pike to face Bishop Shanahan.
Yeah, the undefeated Trojans. They've had so many players that have contributed all season to this team to put them in this position. We had asked, I think you were still standing there, we had asked Coach Dolan if we would see Joe Brisky this past Friday or this week coming up. He kind of alluded, he goes, if we can hold out for one more week, great. Then we have him for next week. But this will be one of North Pocono's biggest opponents that they've played all season. The Eagles have averaged about 40 points a game. Wow. But the Trojans defense will need to shut down plays between quarterback Anthony Aquila and Aiden Civitella.
Yeah, and I think, Courtney, last week they opened up the playbook a little bit. They've been a little sluggish starting some of the games. Last week they jumped on the Mountaineers, got out to that quick 20-zip lead there in the first quarter.
We talked about some of the guys that have been doing it for them all season. Cole West, another player of the game last week, an interception and 2 touchdowns. For him, doing it on all sides of the ball. Cole West returning the ball, having touchdowns on offense, having touchdowns on defense. He's doing it on all 3 phases of the game. North Pocono, like you said, Courtney, defensively, they're going to need to have a really good effort if they're going to want to have a chance against Bishop Shanahan, because they have a really good offense. But offensively, they have the pieces there. Josiah Gray closing in on 1,000 rushing yards by filling in for Joe Brisky this season. And if they can get Brisky back, that's going to be a huge boost to the team, not just on the field, but I'm sure camaraderie-wise, they're going to just really like to have him back too.
And then Scranton Prep, the District 2 3A champions, they face the District 4 3A champs from Mifflinburg. That game is at Milton High School, also Friday night at 7 o'clock. That's 5 district championships now in a row for the Cavaliers, and the first one in school history for the Wildcats. So Scranton Prep, head coach Terry Gallagher, they were in our initial Super 16 rankings, kind of fell out of the rankings. Will McPartland wasn't cleared to play, I believe, until week 5. So they are hot right now, rolling along, and a very dangerous team. And Mifflinburg, I think, once again, they're going to have their hands full because Prep has kind of rolled over Wyoming area. They rolled over Berwick, and now they get the Wildcats down at Milton on that brand new turf there in Milton, and that should be a great night for some football.
Yeah, man, Prep has really come on strong. I don't know what changed. I do know what changed. They got healthy. They peaked at the right time, but they are relentless at this point. They're coming out strong. They're coming out hot, putting up points early. Mifflinburg is going to have to do just as good of a job, if not better, if they want to stop Will McPartland and this Prep Cavaliers offense.
Yeah, last year during the Super 16 Dream Team Showcase down at the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton International Airport, Lewis Paris and McPartland came in after having surgeries for torn ACLs and MCLs. So Lewis has gone on to recover and play some college football. Will, he's healthy now, and I really think he wants to kind of show the state that he's one of the best players out there.
Yeah, definitely. And ever since he has been healthy and, back into this offense, you can just tell the difference with Scranton Prep. They have just exploded, definitely, ever since he's been back. And his connection with Braden McPartland, obviously, too. Braden, a big part of that offense, too. But they're going to have a tough test, even with Mifflinburg, stopping them on defense. Mifflinburg does have a good defense. That was something that impressed me about them watching them this season. I saw them play Southern Columbia. That was a really close game that Mifflinburg almost got the win in. But they have really good weapons on Mifflinburg's offense, too. Chad Martin at quarterback. He's thrown for 2,400 yards this season. So Scranton Prep also going to have a tough test on defense, too.
And now on to the next game, a big one. It's going to be Troy at Southern Columbia. That's also Friday night at 7. That's for the District 4 2A title. It's a rematch of the 2024 game won by the Trojans. That was in the district playoffs, and then Troy went on to win the PWA 2A championship game. So this time, Coach Smith and company, they have to take a bus and go to Catawissa. Last year, the Tigers had to head up Route 6 to take on Troy in the mud, in the grass, in the rain up there. So the weather's going to be a little bit different out there near Knoebels for the Tigers.
Yeah, I think this game will be even more exciting than it was last year. Southern Columbia is so much stronger this season than they were last. Troy has done some great things. Mason Smith has been great for them. Brendan Gilliland's been great. I think they'll have to be even greater than they were at this point last season in order to take down the Tigers.
Yeah, I don't see the score being as lopsided as it was last year. This will be a very competitive game.
Yeah, I completely agree with you guys there. I think Southern Columbia really, really wants this one, probably more than they even wanted it last season after, the not having the season that they're used to having. They want to get back to the state championship. For them, it's state championship or bust. They're really going to want to win this game. I think these two teams match up very similarly. They're very similar styles of teams, both offensively and defensively. I think it's going to come down, honestly, to who wants it more. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, and 2A in the state, everybody's been talking about that since the beginning of the season. It is loaded with teams, and another couple teams going at it on Friday night. It's going to be Williams Valley taking on Schuylkill Haven. That game at Blue Mountain High School, also at 7 o'clock. This is for the District 11 2A title. The Hurricanes won the regular season meeting 43-29, and this is the WNEP Game of the Week. We are certainly excited to showcase the Vikings and the Hurricanes. Coach Farr and Coach Ben Anchief will go at it. Coach Tedeschi took a leave in the middle of the season, and Ben, as the athletic director there, has stepped in, and he's got Williams Valley into the district final.
And boy, those Vikings are hot right now. But the Hurricanes have wreaked havoc on teams all season long. This regular season matchup was one of only 3 really, really close games they had all season. But Haven's undefeated. Coach Farr and the Canes will want to keep it that way. Fletcher Thompson for Williams Valley. Colton Reber for Haven. They've been bullying defenses throughout the season. The question will be who will get the space to run and make those big plays.
Yeah, and the Eagles Nest down there, a great place to play a high school football game. I don't think weather should be any kind of a factor, and that's a very fast track. So whatever officiating crew has that game, they're going to have their hands full.
They better get their cardio, work on their cardio this week. They'll be up and down the field.
No doubt about it. These running backs for both of these teams are going to be running up and down the field. But when we talk about Schuylkill Haven, defensively, they've given up 38 points to the Miners, the most points all season, and then 29 to Williams Valley, the second most all season. Schuylkill Haven does not let you score on them. They are very big and physical on both sides of their line. They play smash mouth football, and that's going to be really hard for Williams Valley to keep up with. I think Williams Valley, you said they're on fire. We know all of their weapons over there. They can score, honestly, kind of at ease. They go up and down the field just like Haven does, but it's going to be a matter of Williams Valley defense being able to stop the 3-headed monster that Schuylkill Haven has.
Yeah, and shout out to Dante Carr, the quarterback there for Minersville. An outstanding season for him. He hangs up the cleats and looks forward to basketball season. And Courtney, I know yesterday you were talking about Dante and some of his workouts in the offseason.
Yeah, fun fact, Dante Carr and David Nanowitz worked together in the offseason.
Oh,
so
wow.
I think we've talked about this before, how similar they kind of look on the field. Now we know why.
That's awesome.
But yeah, Dante is just so impressive, and it's a bummer for him to end his season, but he's got a lot to look forward to next year at the UCF.
Two very tall kids there.
Very, very tall.
Now on to the 3 Saturday games, and we're going to start with the first one. It's Wilkes-Barre area. They're going to be playing State College. That game at Milton at 1 o'clock. It's the first round of the PIAA 6A state playoffs. Coach Ciro Cinti getting another district championship in District 2, a sub-regional, knocking off Coach Mike Pearson and his Williamsport Millionaires. So nice little trip out to Milton Saturday at 1 o'clock. We talked about the great facility out there. That should be an outstanding matchup. I know people talking about State College. They do like to run the football.
Yeah, and Wilkes-Barre, we know, can throw the football. Jake Howe has been precision. The precision on his throws has been great. But again, you can't just have one-sided offenses this time of the year. All of these Saturday teams also have the benefit of playing not at night, so it might be a little bit warmer. So,
Good point.
conditions I think will determine, how some of these games go. But man, it's great to see that Wilkes-Barre area in this state playoff run.
Yeah, no doubt about it. State College, no doubt a tough opponent. Only 2 losses for them this season. But we know that Wilkes-Barre area has a multitude of guys that can make plays for them. And a lot of it is in the passing game. They have 4 receivers or more that have 4 or more touchdowns this season. Jake Howe has had a great season. And then Devin Underwood, one of their top playmakers too. In the run game, he can do some stuff too. He's got 10 rushing touchdowns this season, 572 yards. And then in the passing game, 4 touchdowns for him this season. But they're going to have to find, ways to just get it done on offense for Wilkes-Barre area if they want to stay in this game.
And then also on Saturday, Lakeland. They will be playing Lansdale Catholic, and Lansdale Catholic has 6 Division I athletes on their team. That game is at the Germantown Super Site down there in Philadelphia. I've been down there a few times over the years. Quite a trip to get to that facility. Kick is at 1 p.m. for the Chiefs. But I believe Lakeland is going in there with a lot of confidence, and they feel like with a really good game plan, they got a chance to win.
Yeah, I mean that was the vibe I got, up at practice. They have the confidence in themselves. They do believe that Lansdale is beatable with the way that they run their games. They did go down to the game, Lansdale's last game. They said there were a lot of penalties. If the Chiefs can play a clean game and allow Lansdale to kind of, ruin things for themselves penalty-wise, that could be to their benefit. But still, Nanowitz is strong. He's got lots of weapons to go to through the air and on the ground.
Yeah, I saw Lansdale Catholic play Riverside last year in the state playoffs. The game was up at Mid-Valley, a back-and-forth game, and then the Vikings obviously pulled out a victory there and went on to face Troy up at Towanda High School. That was a close game until the second half, and then obviously we've talked about Troy. They went on to win a state championship in 2A. So Lakeland trying to make that maneuver and get through really good Lansdale Catholic football.
Yeah, when you get down to these Philly schools, and then they just have some really fast and athletic kids usually in these schools. So they're probably going to try to spread out Lakeland's defense, try to get them horizontal instead of going down, down the field. But it's going to be difficult for them to keep up with the offense that they have. Lansdale Catholic, 2 losses this season. They are beatable. Lakeland has a better record than them. They probably not played opponents maybe as good as Lansdale Catholic has, but they have a chance. And, they've got confidence. Nanowitz has, played great all season long. It's going to be up to him to continue to dice up that defense and see what they can do.
And then finally, it's Line Mountain and Lackawanna Trail. That game at Shamokin High School Saturday at 1 o'clock in the first round of the PIAA Single A State Playoffs. So everybody in Herndon will be gone from Herndon early Saturday and driving over to Shamokin to Kent Memorial to face a real good Lackawanna Trail team. And we keep talking about Isaac Ryan. Line Mountain's going to have to line up some smash mouth football, and they're going to really have to try to hone in and stop him. I think they have some of the kids to do it. We'll see what Coach Carson and his staff, what the game plan is for them.
Yeah, Line Mountain has size in their favor. That's one of their biggest positives about this team. They've got the players, they've got the talent, they also have the size. So I think if they can use that to their advantage, especially on defense to try and stop Isaac Ryan, but man, good luck, because everyone has had a tough time stopping him this season.
Yeah, and it's not just Isaac, but Coach Jervis and his staff. Their kids are so well coached. If you go to a game and whoever they're playing, the opponent, if I'm on the other side, they're either former players that have played them, always comment about how tough they are and well coached they are in the system that they run. So it doesn't matter where they're playing. They could be playing up at Factoryville or now out at Shamokin. Trail definitely has the kids to get it done.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They definitely do. And you mentioned how well coached they are. They played in so many of these big games, throughout the last couple of years. They know what to expect when you get to this time of the playoffs. But talking about Line Mountain, they get Max Johnson back actually this week. He finally healthy. He's missed most of the season, but that's going to be a really big help defensively for Line Mountain, getting him back in this game to try to stop Isaac Ryan as much as possible. This is one of, I think, my favorite matchups of the first round of the playoffs. These two teams also kind of similar. I think they match up really well. It's going to be, I'm really intrigued to see who's actually going to get the win in this game. But watching that Lackawanna Trail offense, they can score at the clip that they can. That's ridiculous.
So Line Mountain, they come in 11-0. They had a bye in the first week of the district playoffs, and Trail, they have one loss on the season. So that's a look at the 9 games coming up between Friday and Saturday. When we come back, we will look at the Week 12 games and the games that we covered here on WNEP. Stay with us on the Sports Spotlight. We will be right back.
The Wilkes-Barre-Scranton International Airport, AVP, is your gateway to everywhere. Start here with safe, convenient, terminal-connected parking, quick check-in, and short lines at TSA. Fly on American, United, or Breeze Airways and connect to destinations throughout the USA. You can go nonstop to Chicago, Washington, D.C., Philly, or Charlotte. It's that easy. When you return, there's quick baggage claim and parking nearby. You're on your way faster at AVP.
And welcome back to the Sports Spotlight. I'm Steve Lloyd along with Courtney Harrison and Eve Hernandez. We want to first give you an update on our Super 16 Dream Team Showcase. We will be hosting that once again. We are so happy to have the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton International Airport as our presenting sponsor. The forms for the coaches and the nomination forms went out, so please fill those out and return those ASAP. We know some of the teams are still in the playoffs, but it kind of gives us a barometer of who we have, and we'd like to have those forms in hopefully here by the early part of December. And once again, we will have 32 kids. We'll have our outstanding athlete, offensive and defensive player of the year, our scholar athlete of the year. We'll have our number 1 team, which we will reveal on Monday, December 8th. We will recognize them, and then obviously our coach of the year. So between Courtney, Eve, and myself, and a host of some other people, we will break that all down and have our 32 kids. We love doing it. It's an exciting time for us here at NEP. And once again, we look forward to the WNEP Super 16 Dream Team Showcase. With that out of the way, let's move to the games from last week. And we covered a few of them. Let's start with Scranton Prep beating Berwick 42-7. Once again, a very surprising score. The Cavaliers going down to Crispin Field and just basically taking it to the Dogs. Braden McPartland, Will McPartland, Nolan Criswick, they all had big games for Coach Terry Gallagher and his Scranton Prep Cavaliers.
Yeah, Prep needed 5 plays. 5 plays to score their first touchdown, 4 plays to score its second. Unreal. I don't know where they're pulling this out of. I don't understand it, but man, it was impressive to see them jump right out of the gun, super fast. Will McPartland, Braden McPartland, Nolan Criswick, or Noah Criswick. Man, impressive. And the defense was even more outstanding, shutting down Ty Wilkerson, only allowing him 144 rushing yards and 1 touchdown at the very, very end of the game. So really impressive win by Prep.
Yeah, definitely an impressive win by Prep. And, Berwick had a great season, too, getting their program going back in the right direction. They had a lot of, talent on that team. But, Berwick has been, kind of down in the dumps for the last few years. But having a good season for them this year, undefeated until this point. But Scranton Prep is just a really hard team to beat. Now that they're healthy, now that they got McPartland back in, you can see, how more explosive he is now in the game, too. And then his connection, of course, with Braden has been great all season. And Nolan Critchwick, like you said, he had a great game last week. But then also, like you said, the defense is really what impressed me. Holding Ty Wilkerson to only 144 yards, saying only 144 is that's a lot of yards.
Yeah, it's still a lot of yards.
That's still a lot, but holding Ty Wilkerson to that many because Ty Wilkerson had 3,000 this season. He was, him and Berwick have had really good numbers all year long, so that was really impressive. They held him to just 0 points. Honestly, I could not believe that score when I heard it.
So let's hear from the Cavaliers after capturing their 5th district title in a row.
I would just say after that first drive, we started firing off hot, and then especially after that first stop on defense, I knew we were coming to play. I knew everyone was happy and excited to be there, and everyone wanted to win and keep going to states.
Yeah, I mean, we have some dynamic kids that we got the ball in space. I think kids executed, offensive line executed. We're very fortunate to have some really good kids. It starts with 12, and then there's all these other little parts that make a difference, and the kids up front played very well.
All right, thanks to the kids there and Coach. Congratulations to them once again. Let's move on to Lackawanna Trail. Big win over Tri-Valley. 41-14, that game up there in Factoryville on the grass for the final time of the season. Isaac Ryan, he breaks the Lions' career rushing record. Courtney, I know you said that popped across your computer screen about 10 o'clock last Friday night, and not surprised Isaac Ryan now holds the record there for Trail.
Yeah, not at all. He's well-deserved school record that he'll hold now. But Tri-Valley hung in this one early on. That whole first half of the game, they were in there fighting to play. Second half, it was all over. Isaac Ryan. But I think I counted, if I recall, 154 yards totaled for Isaac Ryan's first 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
154 yards. That's all of Ty Wilkerson's yardage and then some, just on 2 touchdowns alone. So, impressive season that Isaac's had so far.
Yeah, we always talk about the travel, obviously going from Hagen's to Factoryville.
It's a long ride.
You lose all that energy once you go into the locker room at halftime, and Trail went on to post a very big win, and Isaac Ryan is putting up some numbers.
Yeah, I mean, this kid has quite the motor. He's been doing it all season long. I mean, when I watched Lackawanna Trail play one game this season, it took one play for Isaac Ryan to break down for an 80-yard touchdown. That was really impressive when I saw that happen. But he's super fast. No one can catch him. He finds a little seam and he is out. It's not even just being the ability to break tackles or staying on his feet. He just can't get caught. Played up, no one can catch him. He is so fast. That's a really good asset for Lackawanna Trail to have.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lakeland and the Chiefs, Courtney was up at that game. They beat Dunmore 27-7 to win the District 2 2A title. David Nanowitz had a big game. He did leave with an injury, but Courtney was at practice, and David seems A-OK and ready to go for this Saturday. And then Jackson Pocious, he also did some damage. Courtney, what'd you see in that game up there at Chapman Lake?
Nanowitz has really, really come on strong. We knew he was great at the beginning of the season. We knew this team was going to be good at the season, or, we felt the team was going to be good at the beginning of the season. But he was great on defense. Nanowitz is so great on defense. He gets so amped up, and I think that really kind of amps the rest of the defense up. They're all super excited. I was talking to Cody Miller, one of the other players, tight end on defense as well. He said, we all want to make that tackle. We all want to get that ball, and whoever makes it, we're all happy and we're all hyped because it means that we're going to put the ball back in the hands of our quarterback and our offense. Nanowitz told me he did take himself out. He said his ankle felt a little funny. It was cold. It was raining. And at that point in the game, I think they knew that they were going to move on to this round and beat Dunmore. He just did it as a precaution to himself. He seems good. He looked good. He was throwing some passes, doing a little bit of they were working out a little bit yesterday in the cold and the snow. So we'll see how things play out. But, man, great job by the Chiefs in this one.
Yeah, being up there for preseason with Coach Parwarchik, David, his one big concern was injuries. And he said if we can avoid the injury bug, we should have a pretty successful season. So compared to what they went through last year, I would say this is a A+ for them, but they're still not done. Looking for another win.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, if you can stay healthy at this point of the season, that's really all you want. That's all you can hope for. Especially, I mean, we watched Scranton Prep in the semifinals last year. Lewis Paris, their quarterback, goes out in that game versus Northwestern Lehigh, and they didn't really have a chance after that. Something that you do not want to see happen to any of these teams when you get this far in the playoffs. So Nano is taking himself out, like you said, Courtney. Kudos to him for protecting himself and protecting his team, honestly, for the future.
Then the next game, Delaware Valley over Abington Heights, 27-24 in a classic to win the District 2 5A championship game. Our photographer, Tim Hopkins, was at that game. I was just talking to him over in one of the edit booths, and he said there were a lot of penalties and a lot of yelling back and forth. He never saw so many penalties in his life. But, obviously, Coach O able to pull out that win behind Mike Isolino, their star running back, breakout touchdown late. And then, obviously, the Comets had a great season, but come up a little bit short and losing to Delaware Valley there in 5A.
I feel like this has become a new rivalry or a newer rivalry between these two teams. When there's that many penalties, you know that they want it so bad, and they're kind of willing to do whatever it takes to get that win. No, coaches don't want to see those penalties, but this is what happens. The Warriors won this game in the regular season. I think Abington wanted this one really, really badly, not only to beat them, but also to take the district championship. Abington was out to a 17-0 lead, and then DV came in and scored 20 unanswered points to take the win. So they turned it on in the second half, and it only matters who has the most points at the end of the game there, and they were able to hold them off at the very end.
Kind of reminds me of the Indiana-Penn State game, similar.
Yes.
Similar things.
Similar ending.
Yep, similar things that happened.
Well, we talk about Isolino, though. He also made the play on defense at the end of the game on fourth down. They were going for it in the end zone, Abington Heights, going for a touchdown in the end zone, and Isolino knocked the ball out on fourth down, and that DV was able to get a couple first downs, run out the clock, and that was that for them. So Isolino, a playmaker on both sides of the ball for this team.
Then we move on to Shamokin. They smoke Jersey Shore 37-0 for now back-to-back District 4 4A titles. Zakem Clinton, a big game for him. Nolan Pauling injured. He would leave the game for Jersey Shore. And Eve talked about this. Colin Steinhardt, a bunch of INTs for Shamokin. And they blanked Jersey Shore. Great win for Shamokin, and they're now 12-0 in the season.
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't expecting the score to be, shut them out. Shamokin to shut out Jersey Shore. This game we're used to being very close at the end. This game went to double overtime earlier in the regular season, but after Nolan Pauling went out in the second quarter of this game. He was the one that was really making plays for Jersey Shore to begin with. Bo Secrets was giving some good runs in there, but really Shamokin was able to stop Jersey Shore until for most of the game. When Nolan Pauling went out, and then it was really just up to Shamokin's offense to just really do whatever they needed to do. They have Noah Ringus, they have Ryan Bickert, they have Logan Steele, they have Zakem Clinton. All of these guys can make plays for this team. And then, of course, defensively, too, a lot of great players on that team. I spoke to Colin Steinhardt after the game, and then also talked to Logan Steele and Coach Percy, which you can watch right now. Well, no nail biter this time. The Shamokin Indians take down the Jersey Shore Bulldogs 37-0 to earn back-to-back District 4 championships. And Colin Steinhardt, the man of the night, with 4 interceptions, one of them going for a touchdown.
Shout out to our big man up front. They really put the pressure on the quarterback, and it was obviously hard to throw because it was rainy, and I was just in the right position. It means everything. It really gives us momentum to go into the state playoffs and continue to win.
After that QB dropped, it made it a little bit easier for us, obviously. He's a great player. And then Bo Secrets was getting a little sore and tired after getting hit so many times from Zakem and all the linebackers. And we knew after that we just had to beat him for the next quarter straight, and then we did, and we just pulled out victorious.
This was the plan. This was the vision from the beginning. The kids have bought in and done everything that we've asked them. We have a tremendous weight program, a tremendous strength and conditioning program. Our kids are bought in the summer 3-4 days a week. So this is just the culmination of all the good things that they've done over the last 3 years.
Congratulations to Shamokin. I think one team that's probably traveled more than any other team in the state is probably Jersey Shore. They would have lopsided wins and lopsided losses. So quite bizarre there. Another good season for them, but they come up a little bit short, and they lose to the Indians. We now move to Line Mountain. We stay in District 4. And the Eagles, they defeat Montgomery 20-14. Our photographer, Dan Taransky was there, and they win the District 4 Single A championship game. Caden Maurer throws to Henry Malfara late, and then Bryce Smelts with the game-winning touchdown catch for Line Mountain, and they celebrated out there in Herndon in style, a big win for them. And Dan Taransky has been in some incredible games this season.
Dan Taransky has got the short end of the stick a lot of the times. Not this week. This was probably my favorite game of the week. So many big momentum swings. The fake field goal by Dalton Shadle. What the heck? What are we pulling these crazy plays out? But yeah, I guess anything goes when you're playing.
It's the playoffs, Courtney.
It's the playoffs. Line Mountain took the lead the fourth quarter. Montgomery had one last chance. A similar play to the DV Abington game. On fourth down, Parker Persing's pass falls incomplete, and that's the way it ends. Great win by Line Mountain. Great season by Montgomery. We have to give them the credit where credit's due. The Raiders have done a really great job this season, and kudos to them.
And in the post game, Dan Taransky caught up with some of the players. So let's hear from the Eagles in their post game victory speech.
Yeah, I mean, the last 2 weeks we've been just nonstop game prepping, and obviously it was a battle through this because we knew it was going to be anyway, so we just came prepared.
I mean, coming into the game, we knew it was going to be hard. It wasn't just going to be a cakewalk. For 2 weeks with that bye, it gave us a lot of time to just work, train. We've been in the weight room, just all around. We've been working our butts off just for this moment tonight. At the beginning of the season, we set the goal. We set the goal to be undefeated and to be district champs, and here we are.
All right, congratulations to Line Mountain once again. Very good football team, and they will have their hands full coming up this Saturday with Lackawanna Trail. On to the next game, Troy. They beat Warrior Run. On the road, 48-34. We've talked about Brendan Gilland. Touchdown run for him. Mason Smith with another big game for the Trojans. And the road Trojans go out there and pick up a big win there in Turbotville and head back home and prepare to face the Tigers of Southern Columbia once again on the road.
Yeah, really big win for Troy getting that win over Warrior Run. Warrior Run had a really good season. They were a hard team to beat. They kept it close in this game. 48-34, the final score there. But Brendan Gilliland, over 300 rushing yards for him in this game. He is one of their big weapons. Not even just him and Smith, running around back there for Troy. But, man, that was a really good win for them. They score a lot of points on offense. Troy is a really hard team to beat defensively.
Yeah, Warrior Run's, quarterback James Kiefer has really done some great things. I think Troy jumping out to an early lead gave the Warrior Run a harder time to try and play catch up. But still being able to rattle off 34 points against Troy, made it a game. But congratulations to Troy. They're on their way again. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, piling up the points. Are going to have to tighten up that defense a little bit against the Tigers. Now we go back to District 2. North Pocono, the Trojans, they beat Dallas 38-6. They win the District 2 4A championship. Cole West, Chase Zimmerman, big runs and a nice touchdown pass to Evan Wolf from Zimmerman for the 20-zip advantage early on. The Mountaineers went down 13-zip, and like I said earlier, they muffed the kickoff, and that gave the ball back to North Pocono. So Courtney and I were up there for the 6 p.m. and 5:50 live shots with the coach. And like I said live on the air, Coach Dolan changed outfits like 5 times. It was sunny, then it was windy, then it was raining, then it wasn't raining, and he just didn't know what the weather report was going to be. But I think he's very happy to come out with that win and do it so early on in that football game.
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere has been really, really high up there. Like, I think this is the last couple times I've been there pregame, and they're amped. The fans are amped. Even the crowd was great. I was surprised that, with the weather being so crummy, a lot of these fans, maybe we don't come out, maybe we just listen on the radio or watch it, follow along online. But man, North Pocono has really been exciting to watch this season, and to have a season like this that they haven't had since 1991, even better.
And the one thing about North Pocono I want to talk about is their band, because their band is fantastic. But they got in a little trouble the Saturday game at Abington. They were playing continuously through before the snap and then after snap. So the rule now is they can play as loud as they want up until the snap, and then when the ball snapped, they have to stop. Which makes no sense to me. To me, they should be able to play once the ball is snapped, because you want the kids to be able to hear
Right.
the snap.
Exactly. It's
I
backwards.
I was talking to a couple of administrators up there and some just District 2 officials, and the intent of the rule I don't understand. I guess to me that they shouldn't be able to play. I don't know. I guess why they're out there on the field. Like,
I don't know.
It's
When the play clock starts, then you can't play. Maybe I don't
When
know.
the batter steps in the box, then you can't play anymore.
I guess the most effective time to play is before the snap. That's when they're allowed to play,
Yeah, I don't know.
which is harder for the kids to hear it. But then they have to
You
stop.
need the
when
home field advantage.
Yeah,
They have to
they don't.
stop. They have to stop when
The noise doesn't stop in NFL and college games, so what does it matter now?
We'll have to revisit that rule. I got to get some clarifications from Mike Sarah and maybe Gary Davis. They can please email me or give me a call here at the station to clarify what's going on with the band and the music during high school football games. I don't understand. The next one, Northwestern Lehigh, the defending state champions. They beat a very game North Schuylkill team, 49-21. We got some video from Channel 69 in Allentown, WFMZ. We appreciate their help as always. And the season comes to an end for Wally Hall and North Schuylkill. As we talked about, Jersey Shore, probably the most travel. I would say that the toughest schedule of any team this season has to be North Schuylkill and the teams that they played.
Absolutely, and man, they did a great job with that schedule. It's obviously it's not the outcome that they wanted, but man, they put up a good fight this season. I know they were floating in and around our countdown. Just an unfortunate, but like you said, Northwestern Lehigh powerhouse team. That's pretty much kind of expected when you're facing them.
Yeah, tough to go down to New Tripoli and try to knock off the Tigers. 49 points, a lot of points they gave up, but a great season for North Schuylkill.
Yeah, definitely a great season for North Schuylkill. When you have to go against a team like Northwestern Lehigh, gonna be a tough one, no doubt about it. But they say scored 21 points in this game. They did what they could to stay in it. They have some good athletes with Luke Miller. They got a really good offensive line over there. Caden Mengel at quarterback. They had some really good pieces, and like you said, the schedule was really tough. Obviously, they played the tough schedule to try to get to these games later in the season. This year just didn't end up working out how they wanted it to.
All right, now on to the WNEP Sports Spotlight Play of the Week. And we are going to give it to Zakem Clinton from Shamokin. The running back twists and turns against the Bulldogs of Jersey Shore and then races to the end zone for the touchdown. If you haven't seen this video, go look for it. We're going to show it to you here, but it is amazing. Eve, you were down there. You got this clip. I know Courtney made some comments about it when it came in. Just a freak athlete, and I think he spun 4 times.
I was so shocked to filming this play and watching him just emerge from the line. I was like, where did he go? Because you didn't even see him. And then he spins his way out from the middle, and then he does the signature little stiff arm move. He gets one block, and then he hits the sideline for the end zone. That was just a crazy play. Like watching, for me on Sunday, I was watching the Falcons and the Colts game. Reminded me what Jonathan Taylor was doing. He was kind of hugging the defensive and offensive line a little bit, hugging the line, patiently waiting for the seam to break through. That's exactly what Zakem Clinton did in this play right here.
When he got into the end zone, they should have had a Sharpie for him in a football. He could have started signing autographs.
He should have.
He did go up, and I think he fist pumped it or shook one of the fans' hands. There.
I felt like we should have inserted the Chris Berman whoop. Just watching him go, it was so fun to watch it. And like when you read the highlights, you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then you see it, and you're like, oh, man, that was wild. Obviously, why it's the play of the week.
Yeah, so congratulations to Shamokin. Congratulations to Zakem. Put that one in the vault, and someday you could tell your kids you were the Sports Spotlight Play of the Week. All right, when we come back, we'll go back to 1997. We're going to talk a little South Williamsport Mounties football with Coach Zalonis, and then his nephew, Brett Zalonis, who played over there for the Lycoming Warriors. We're going to take a look at that. We'll look at some of the playoffs from the last couple weeks, and then the sports finale from James Pennington to look back at some of the great highlights from Week 12 when the Sports Spotlight comes right back. All right, welcome back to the Sports Spotlight, into our video section of our show this week. And we're going to go back to 1997 with the Zalonis family. First, head coach Rich Zelonis over there with the Mounties, and then his nephew Brett Zelonis played for Lycoming College. So South Williamsport, they would go on to lose in the 2A state final 20-0 to South Park back in 1997. That game out at Mansion Park in Altoona. And then the same year, Lycoming, they went 12-1, and they lost 61-12 to Mount Union in the NCAA Division III National Championship game, the Amos Alonzo Stagg Bowl. So quite a story that Drew Mitchell was able to report on. Two family members going, to a national championship and a state championship. Quite a run there for the Zelonis family. Got a chance to meet both of them over the years, and great football family there, and obviously a great year for them.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this one. I didn't peek at it beforehand.
All right, so let's take a look back in 1997, a little story with Drew Mitchell as he reports on the Zelonis family out there in Lycoming County.
Lycoming College and South Williamsport High School boast undefeated football teams charging for a championship this weekend. Both schools owe some of their success to the Zelonis family. Rich coaches the Mounties on the south side, and his nephew Brett plays linebacker for the Warriors.
He doesn't look like a college football player. If you saw him walking down the street, that's the last thing you'd think of him. But when he puts the pads on, he's just been blessed with an ability to be able to hit people. Uses every inch of his body and every pound of his weight to hit you.
Brett is one of the Warriors' leading tacklers. At 5'8", 170 pounds, he really hits harder than his size indicates. But he hasn't always been the one dishing out the punishment.
I guess I always took the brunt of it since I was the smallest one, but maybe that'll pay off a little bit down the road. Get my sticks in now and then, though.
So did you used to beat on him when he was younger?
Absolutely. Yeah, we went at each other quite a bit, all three of us. But, I love them very much, and they're more like brothers to me than nephews.
Both of Rich's parents died before he was a teenager, so he lived with Brett's family. It was a Zelonis family affair in 1993 when Brett, Rich, and Rich's older brother Johnny led the Mounties charge to the state final. Rich and Brett aren't together as much anymore, but each still makes time to support the other at football games.
I really enjoy going over to watch them play. It's a lot more relaxing because you don't have to make the decisions, and you can sort of sit back and wonder what the teams are going to do, but you're not directly involved in it.
Coach G gives us Friday off to lift and watch films and just get mentally focused. So I'm going to go down there, support South, hope they win, and come back Friday night, get ready, and hopefully play a good game on Saturday.
Friday night, South Williamsport High School plays for a trip to the state championship. Saturday afternoon, Lycoming College goes for the Division III South Region title. The Zelonis family will be well represented at both games. Drew Mitchell, Newswatch 16 Sports, Lycoming County.
All right, thanks to Drew for that report, and congratulations to Lycoming and South Williamsport. Tough to come up a little bit short, but memories there for sure out there in Lycoming County. So each and every season, we always like to put together some music montage pieces with all the video that we get. I'm sure you guys have shot some great video this year for people to kind of take a look at.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some great stuff over the last couple weeks, especially in this section of the playoffs, the first couple weeks of the playoffs. So, by the time we get to this week, I've almost forgotten what we've done a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So this is nice to kind of showcase all of the great stuff that happened in each week.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, chance to show off all of these things that we give. Because a couple weeks go by and you kind of forget what happened. So it's really cool that we have this platform here to show you guys again with some music. You have the little montage. It'll be cool to see about all the plays that we have the last couple weeks of the playoffs.
All right, so we're going to take a look at several of these montage pieces. We're going to go back to back. So the first one is from Week 11 a couple weeks ago, and then all the teams that played or that are playing in Week 12. So let's take a look first at Week 11, and then we'll transition right into Week 12 here on the Spotlight. All right, so really cool to take a look at some of the athleticism, kind of like NFL films, gliding through the air and stuff like that. And then each and every week, we always have our sports finale. We wrapped it up last week with editor du jour, James Pennington, from Week 12. That's going to be it for the season. We just don't have enough games to put a piece together. So here is the sports finale from last week. James Pennington putting together the sports finale from Week 12. All right, thanks to James, and once again, thanks to all of our photographers out there each and every week gathering all that great video. So that's the video section of our show. When we come back, we're going to talk about Penn State, tough loss at home to Indiana. We're going to talk a little Notre Dame and Pitt football, and we will give you an update on the Susquehanna Riverhawks Division III team that just won the landmark conference football title when we come back on the spot. All right, welcome back to the Sports Spotlight. We are getting to the end of our show. This is our college football talk section. How about Penn State losing at home to Indiana 27-24, last-minute drive for the Hoosiers, and now the Lions are 0-6 in the Big Ten, and now they face Michigan State. That game Saturday at 3:30 on CBS. Steve, you and I were there. The crowd was into it, and the Hoosiers just making a Heisman-type final drive there against Penn State. All-out blitz, 3 guys in the back end, 8 guys rushing. That's 8, 9, 10, 11, and that's where you throw it. You throw it to the back end line, and a great catch and a toe tap, and they get the win.
Yeah, Mendoza knew where to go with that ball, and he put it exactly where he was supposed to. But, as being at that game, shout out to, the Nittany Lions fans, creating a lot of actually mistakes for Indiana in that game. Couple of delayed games, couple of they couldn't hear, they had to kick some time out. So the fans were definitely a part of that game, being there, helping Penn State on that game. But that was a really tough way to lose that game. For it to come down to the last play, defensively, Penn State did what they needed to at the end of the game. King Mack getting the big interception. Offensively, you would have liked them to be a little bit less conservative of that 2 minutes at the very end there. Try to get the first down instead of just running the ball 3 times and hoping that would be enough. It wasn't enough, and then your defense was not able to do what they needed to do at the end. They played. They deserved to win that game. They played the way that they played. They deserved to win that game, but just a couple of plays short for Penn State.
Yeah, I think for Coach Smith, a tough road coming in as the interim head coach. You go to Iowa, you go to Ohio State, number 1 team in the country. You come back home, his first time running out the tunnel as on the home field as an interim head coach. You face the number 2 team in the country. He's implementing some of the small things he wants to get in there. I think Katron Allen and Nick Singleton played outstanding games. Grunkemeyer looks a little bit better, and they were much more on the attack, blitzing against Indiana and causing the Hoosiers a lot of problems.
Yeah, they did. I think this was probably the best they've looked. I mean, you can kind of wipe away those first 3 games of the season against teams that really haven't done anything or were doing anything. But this really looked like a better team. You could tell Grunkemeyer still a little hesitant, and I feel like Coach Smith played a little hesitant, a little too conservative at times. There were a couple times where they were taking timeouts, and I was just like, are you sure? Like, let things play out. But again, that comes with experience, and this is the first time he's leading this team. But they did. They had moments of greatness in this game, and I was at the Lackawanna College game while this game was going on, and everybody was going, what's going on in the Penn State game? What's going on in the Penn State game? But because it was that important. And I think there were a lot of people rooting for Penn State in this one. It looked great there until it didn't.
Yeah, I think the storyline for Penn State as we move forward, obviously, Michigan State on the road.
Yep.
Coach Smith can get his first win. They come back home for senior day against Matt Rule in Nebraska. And Nebraska looked pretty good with their backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go to Piscataway to face Rutgers. So if they can win those three, they're 6-6, bowl eligible. Does Penn State accept a bowl? What does Pat Kraft do as far as a coach? Might he keep Coach Smith, make that announcement? Might he not accept a bowl and go with another coach? I mean, there's a lot of hanging chads there with Penn State, and a lot of decisions to be made by the athletic department. And obviously the Letterman's Club, I'm hearing, has a big say in who the next coach is going to be. And we're not talking hundreds of dollars. We're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars into this football program and a head coach. And obviously the construction project of the press box side of the stadium, the west side of the stadium is still under construction. We had to walk around to get to our car. Quite a lot of construction going on there at Beaver Stadium.
Yeah, a lot of construction going on there and a lot of uncertainty for the program moving forward. You'd like to get a head coach in as soon as possible, in all honesty, to start recruiting these guys. A lot of decommits from the last season for the next season. 26 and 27 recruits, a lot of them are not going to play for Penn State again. So you would like to get a new head coach in as soon as possible to start going out, start scouting, start getting commits back into Penn State. It's going to be really tough. You know, they got Grunkemeyer this season, and you know he's been playing better as the season has gone on. They're able to push the ball downfield a little bit more versus Indiana. We'll see how he kind of progresses through the next few games with Cole Nicky. But you're going to want to clean house. A new head coach is going to want to bring in their new guys, and it's going to be completely new staff at Penn State next season.
Yeah, I think for Penn State, they certainly won special teams. They got a great kickoffs, great kick returns. The punt game was really good, much better than Indiana. Singleton returning the kickoffs, I think, is a great move for Coach Smith. Get him back there, get him the football. He's very dangerous. Why he wasn't in there earlier in the season, obviously that falls on the head of Coach Franklin. He's not there anymore. And I think the defensive line and the offensive line have played great here the last couple weeks, but still no wins in the Big Ten. So 0-6 is tough to stomach. Hopefully they can get their first win coming up on Saturday. Let's move on to Notre Dame and the Irish. They beat Navy. They now face number 24 Pittsburgh. Notre Dame is number 10 in the latest college football rankings that always come out Tuesday night. That game is at Acrisure Stadium, home of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Saturday at noon right here on ABC. We got the Irish on ABC.
We got the Irish. All right. Yeah, I mean, Jeremiah loves slicing and dicing through the midshipmen, with that 49-10 win. They looked great, and they deserve to be back in that top 10. I think Marcus Freeman's doing a great job with his team. I think they want to get back to this national title, and whether they will get there or not, I'm still not so sure. I think there's still a lot of other teams out there that are better than Notre Dame right now, but anything can happen. You know, anything can and will happen, especially when it comes to the college football playoffs.
So watch our Saturday morning news. College Game Day is going to be out there at Acrisure for the first time, I believe, maybe, I don't know, in a long time, maybe 20 years. I'm trying to remember what the report was. And then flip over at 3:30, you can watch Oklahoma, number 12, taking on number 4, Alabama. That's on ABC. And then in prime time, it's number 11, Texas, at number 5, Georgia, at 7:30. You can watch Courtney on WNEP2 at 6.
And then after the game at 11.
You can also watch Courtney on WNEP2 at 10. She'll be on after the Georgia game. You can watch Courtney then. And then she will be on all Saturday morning. She will have it all covered. Obviously, hopefully Penn State can get a win. And the Notre Dame Pitt game, that'll be a good one. Crazy game.
Absolutely.
Crazy game.
Number 24 Pitt.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's move on to some local college football. Division III, the Susquehanna Riverhawks on a great winning streak. They've won 5 in a row now, just beat Wilkes at home 26-3 to claim the latest landmark conference football championship. So congratulations to Tom Perkovich out there in Selinsgrove. And Susquehanna Riverhawks rolling along, outstanding football program. They've rolled through the landmark conference this season.
Yeah, and I was out there when they went to play John Hopkins. They had a little bit of a blip there that week where they didn't look as solid, but man, they have come back and they've been so good the last couple seasons. No surprise here that they're back on top, and we'll see if they can keep it rolling. I know making it into late into the postseason last year, they were pretty excited about. So let's see if they can get back there.
Maybe Coach Perk will get an interview for the Penn State job.
Hey, you never know.
Anything can happen.
Throw his name out there.
No, Susquehanna ran through their landmark opponents this season, like you said, Courtney. Over the last 5 games, they've given up just 17 points to those landmark opponents. The 2 losses this season to John Hopkins, our 3rd team in the country, and then to Christopher Newport, also a ranked team in the country. None of those teams have losses this season. So we saw this with Susquehanna last year, too. Once you get into, we will see, we don't know who their first round opponent is yet for the playoffs, but we'll see how far they were able to handle some of these teams pretty good. A lot of the in D3, a lot of the Midwestern teams are really good, so they're going to have probably some of those teams on their schedule as it comes up here, but they handled it well. They got very far. It's a younger team this season, but they've been, chugging along so far, and I think they'll have a chance to go far again this year.
All right, that's the college football report. When we come back, the picks. We got the picks here on the Sports Spotlight. Stay with us. All right, welcome back to the WNEP Sports Spotlight. I'm Sports Director Steve Lloyd, Courtney Harrison, Eve Hernandez, as we wrap up here Week 13. So here's the games on the list if you want to pick it home for Week 13. Lackawanna Trail taking on Line Mountain. Troy at Southern Columbia. Williams Valley taking on Schuylkill Haven. Lakeland against Lansdale Catholic. Mifflinburg versus Scranton Prep. Shamokin at Bellefonte, and North Pocono down there at Bishop Shanahan. So those are the games. We always pick 6 games. So we're going to start with my picks. I came into Week 12 with a record of 48-18. I went 4-2 last week, and now an overall record, get out your calculator, 52-20. Bill Schultz, our executive producer here, constantly checking the numbers. Picks here for Week 13, Steve Lloyd. That's me. Trail over Line Mountain. Southern Columbia over Troy. Nobody's going to catch Eve. Schuylkill Haven over Williams Valley. Scranton Prep over Mifflinburg. Shamokin over Bellefonte. And North Pocono, I like to beat Bishop Shanahan. Those are my 6 picks. Here's Courtney.
Courtney had a terrible week last week. I don't know what the heck happened. I came into the week at 50-16. I went 2-4 on the week.
Our worst week yet, Courtney.
Horrible. I went from tippy top 2 weeks ago to now I don't know what happened.
You were picking with your heart.
I think I was. And also there were a couple picks I'm I'm just going to pick to be different. It did not work out for me. I'm now tied with Steve, 52-20. My picks for the week: Trail over Line Mountain. Southern Columbia over Troy. Haven, I have beating Williams Valley. Prep over Mifflinburg. Shamokin over Bellefonte. And North Pocono over Bishop Shanahan.
All right, Courtney, thanks. Good luck.
Good luck.
Let's not go 2-4 again.
Let's not go 0-6. Let's please.
Here's the number 1 placeholder right now.
Number 1.
Eve Hernandez.
Well, if we go 0-6, then we'll all go 0-6 because all of our picks are pretty much the same.
Well, I think we have to go at least 2-4.
Yeah, I picked 1 game different. To be different, like you said, Courtney, I picked 1 game differently than Steve and Courtney did this week. But just to give you my numbers real quick, came in with 54-12 into Week 12. I went 4-2 last week, and so I sit at number 1 at 58-14 through 13 weeks this season. That's crazy. But the only game that I have different versus Steve and Courtney is I picked Mifflinburg to win over Scranton Prep. We talked about this game a little bit. We broke it down from both sides earlier. I really like Chad Martin at quarterback. They have a more modern offense. They spread it around. He's got a big arm. I really like Mifflinburg in that game.
Yeah, I had a tough time with that one. I think that's the one game I went back and forth most about because how good Mifflinburg is.
Yeah, and I'll be at that game too, so I'm very excited to go to film that game for you guys first time Saturday night.
Roll out your picks?
Yeah, we'll go with Lackawanna Trail over Line Mountain, Southern Columbia over Troy, Schuylkill Haven over Williams Valley, and then like I said, Mifflinburg over Scranton Prep. I'm taking Shamokin over Bellefonte, and then North Pocono over Bishop Shanahan.
All right, so we'll have picks next week for Week 14. Probably a fewer picks for Week 15, and then if we have any teams in the state championship game. So the margins are narrowing.
Yes.
As we extend here, but we'll just stay with the high school teams. We won't add in college or the NFL. Not fair. So
we may have to if there's a tiebreaker. I don't think there's going to be a tiebreaker unless it's you and I.
Final remarks, and who wants to go?
Well, best of luck to all of our teams. I'll get that out of the way.
Most definitely.
But the end of an era at Lackawanna College. Mark Duda, retiring after 33 years. Their final game playing against Snow College this evening, Thursday evening. Man, what a career. What a great guy. He's, as if you didn't hear earlier, he's battling Parkinson's, so we wish him all the very best. Great coach, great legacy, and good luck to the next person that has to come in and fill those shoes.
There we go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Great career for Judah. But for we're talking about the playoffs this week. Best of luck to all of our teams. It's gonna get difficult from here on out. We'll see how many games we have next week. With the winter conditions, anything could happen. But it's the playoffs. Anything can happen, and it's a football. Like you never know. You really never know.
Mm-hmm.
So good luck to all of our teams. We hope everyone stays healthy. Really looking forward to going out. I'm really excited for Scranton Prep versus Mifflinburg. I think that's going to be a really good game that we have on our lineup this week.
Well, get out there, get some tickets, go see these kids play in these outstanding football games. We have a slew of them on Friday night. If you can't make it to the games, certainly put on the news or go to the WNEP app. We have all the information and scores and updates there also on the desktop, WNEP.com. If you click on scores, score stream will give you the scores, the updated scores, and then the finals. So good luck to Coach Smith. Safe travels out to East Lansing.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully he can get his first win. That'll be incredible for him. One great guy there. I want to echo what Courtney said and Eve said for Coach Judah. Good luck to him. Nothing but a class guy there. And good luck in his battles there with Parkinson's. We wish him nothing but the best. And then Notre Dame and Pitt. That's going to be a great game here on ABC. Make sure you tune in to watch that. And then we have all the SEC games at later in the day, 3:30 and 7:30 at night. Those are going to be some doozies. Obviously, teams in there that could go on to win a natty.
Go Dogs. Had to get that in.
For myself, for Courtney Harrison, Eve Hernandez, thanks for joining us here on the latest edition of the WNEP Sports Spotlight. We love doing this each and every week. Come back next week. Make it a great weekend.